This week, I went to the Van Gogh immersive exhibit, and it was trippy, and it was also eye-opening for some psychotic reasons. Number two, obviously, the New York Knicks won their season opener against the Boston Celtics, and you would have thought they won the championship. But really, what you guys are probably here for is the update in that Brian Laundrie's remains may or may not have been found. Roll the intro.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression. It's all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through them.
Welcome back to another episode of the Problems on Problems podcast. I am your host, Mike Santi, and this week it's been weird. I mean, not like every week isn't weird, but I feel like, this whole Mercury and Gatorade thing has been going on for long enough, but who knows? I'm just a dude who doesn't pay attention to stars, so we move on. But on a very nice idea, I went to the Van Gogh Art Exhibit in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is an immersive exhibit that started off in Paris and moved its way over to Toronto and other big cities, and now it's in Charlotte and a lot of other cities. But really, gosh, I mean, I'll just read you straight from their website. An immersive 5,000 cubic feet of monumental projections animating Van Gogh's collection of art. So number one, it's really cool because it's over in Camp North End. It's over in the old Ford building, I believe. Was that the right? Is that the old Ford building? Yeah, it's the old Ford building on Camp North End. And so you buy your tickets, you do all that stuff. You can stay for as long as you want, I think. I don't know the rules, but you show up. There's a show that starts, and it runs, I think, every 35 minutes, where this immersive experience, you are socially distanced on either benches, the floor, wherever, but they project and have animated not all, but a lot of Van Gogh's pieces and overlaid it with some music where it's, gosh, like first let me get you the right details. The exhibit was designed and conceived by Massimiliano Siccardi, and the soundtrack was designed and laid out by Luca Longobardi. Ooh, yeah. But I don't know why I said it like that. But this thing is insane. So number one, if you go there not sober, you're immediately going to enjoy yourself. I'm not saying do things recklessly, but you're adults, some of you. Act accordingly. But you get in there and it's like, the weird part to me, we'll just put it this way, my interpretation of it all, this was literally like the biography of a man gradually losing his mind, where you start off at the beginning of the show with this like crescendo of cicadas, or the sound of cicadas, some sketches that he has of cicadas, and then that quickly like cuts to peaceful music and kind of we'll say less melancholy or less dramatic artwork. The info packet that comes along with it starts to give you an insight as to what's going on as you see each kind of piece roll through the show, ultimately leading down the path of when he started losing his mind. The few times that he checked himself into mental institutions, or the few times that he checked himself into mental institutions, if I could get that right, checked himself into mental institutions, the time where he was isolated from people for at least a year and producing art and going through that stuff, where you really start to see the deterioration of the mind, if you want to consider it that. Jury's out as to whether it's a deterioration or an enlightenment, but I think it's the journey of someone who's gradually losing their mind, and you get to see this through their artwork. On top of that, the merch in itself was probably like, the experience was definitely worth it, but if you go there just for the merch, it's also worth it because that gift shop is popping. Do not let me get my hands on one of those crew necks. For those of you that have been, you know which crew necks I'm talking about, because that'd be so nice. Anybody who's watching that wants to send me one of those crew necks, I'll take an extra large because I want it oversized. I don't need to justify my size to y'all. I'll take an extra large. But if you want to check them out, make sure you guys go to vangoghclt.com. You can check all of their cities where they're at now. I know they're in a lot of major cities currently, But go check them out. Go look at some dates and times. I would definitely recommend buying tickets if you can basically make the time for it. But with that, we move on to our unanimated segment of In Other News. I don't know what's happening with my hands. Very Ricky Bobby-esque right now. But in other news, the New York Knicks won their season opener against the Boston Celtics, 138-134 in a ridiculous double overtime performance. And you would have thought that the Knicks just won the NBA championship based off of how fans were reacting. And to that, I quickly say, how bad have New York sports been over the past few years, where like the Knicks winning the first game of the season is automatically met with like, we're going to win the championship, like this is our year kind of thing. It kind of sounded like Knicks fans were very, very close to Cowboys fans, where it's always their year, but we know the truth. There are a lot of things that could have gone wrong and that did go wrong during that game. There's a lot of things that did go right. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I would say calm it down. It's literally game one. I know you guys want something to look forward to because New York has been trash. And on top of that, I say, KD, did you pick the right New York team? Because I don't think so. I'm just saying, we're going to put that out there. But we segue over into what most of you guys probably are here for, and that is the Gabby Petito update. So since the last time we talked about this, there have been a lot of developments and updates on this case. We'll just start off with this, that 2 weeks after Brian Laundrie's parents said they would like to help in the search for Brian Laundrie, which really was prompted by a video of drone footage over the Laundrie residence going viral on social media. And then the parents miraculously say, hey, we want to help look for him. And yeah, sure you do. After their efforts of helping look, they miraculously found remains of Brian Laundrie in the same reservation that his parents said he was going to go hiking and camping in. Or they at least find remains. On October 21st, 2021, the FBI confirms that these remains most likely match that of Brian Laundrie. And yes, a family has lost their son, but this raises so many more questions, and I'm cynical enough to think that to ask a bunch of other questions, kind of like, couldn't you have helped your son possibly avoid death if you started helping look for him sooner? Just an idea. And I know your attorney said that it was his call, that y'all don't speak to the authorities or anything like that. And in which case, if that's the truth, then I genuinely think your attorney's he's out looking for your best interest. And I guess that's really all you could look for in an attorney. But honestly, guys, let's think about this. If I know there have been plenty of times where innocent people have been screwed over by the legal system because it's fucked. To that, I would say if you, the parents, knew that your son had something to do with this and that he was just out, he was hiding, wasn't missing, you know what happened, that's hard. But yeah, I mean, you know my last episode, I'm sending you to jail. But even if you didn't do it or you know information, I'm gonna make you talk because you're the only one that has answers. But yes, so I mean, on top of that, like, if these end up being his remains, most likely match. They basically match. Okay, they match dental records. All you really need is like somebody to positively ID the body, which we don't know if that's happened yet, but it's a match. And I mean, aside from all the things that you're thinking that you could have done to possibly change anything, I really think that being more vocal sooner might have helped, because it's just coincidental that 2 weeks after you guys decided to help, you found remains, and then those remains match that of your son's. But also within those 2 weeks, it came out that Gabby was strangled, or the cause of her death was strangulation. So what happened? Well, we'll never know at this point in time, which is really why my heart goes out to the Petito family in this case, because not only will they not receive any type of justice for what happened to their daughter, but they won't get any answers, because the only person that was there, or at least that we know of that was there at the time, is now no longer. And It's going to be some ambiguous grief that we're going to have to feel through. They're going to have to feel through, not we. That they're going to have to feel through, and some answers that they're not going to have, all because of what? Not being helpful, which is kind of like a really shitty way to go out. So, I mean, if there's a lesson to learn from this, I mean, talk to your people, take care of your people, make sure they're loved, but also make sure you're keeping those people accountable for their actions and their behaviors. Like, maybe we get to the point where people aren't so bad at handling their emotions that they're lashing out at other people, and maybe we get to a point where they don't do that anymore, and instead they kind of talk through those emotions or manage them properly without injuring others or themselves. So, just something to think about. But with that, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the wrap up. We'll talk about your weird choices of toilet paper, this week's poll, and we'll get you guys going for the weekend. P.O.P. And we're back with the great debate. And last week, I asked you guys, would you rather wipe with... Was that the actual question? I don't remember. I asked you, would you rather wipe with saran wrap or sandpaper? And 85% of you guys said saran wrap, which... Maybe I just don't understand the length of which the grits of sandpaper would go to in order to not feel like sandpaper. Like, I know we're all probably thinking about like rough coarse, like the mid-grain kind of sandpaper, mid-grit kind of sandpaper that you use for wood and stuff like that, which, I mean, yeah, that is still sandpaper. But I feel like there's like a micro grit somewhere out there that's, gosh, a micro grit that might be, I don't know, the equivalent to wet polishing something or buffing something out, like where it is somewhat abrasive, but it's not going to do something like that. Maybe I just don't understand abrasion, because I feel like there's got to be some like micro grit of sandpaper out there for a wet polish or something like that, that is feeling wise, it's the equivalent to like a cheap 1-ply toilet paper. And if that's not the case, then yes, saran wrap would be the logical decision, but I don't think that's... I'm still gonna disagree. I'm gonna say that I would rather do it with sandpaper, but maybe this isn't going to happen. But I was about to say maybe I should go out and get some like super fine grit sandpaper in order to prove a point. But we're not doing that. There's no amount of likes or views that will get me to do something like that. But we move over to this week. This week, we'll take it real easy on you guys. We'll stay away from butts and go into the realm of ridiculous. They're in the same realm. If a giraffe were to wear a tie, would it wear it at the top of its neck or at the bottom of its neck? Now, I want you to imagine a giraffe. He's, I don't know, whatever scenario you need. He's going into a job interview. Who cares? And Mans has to wear a tie. Is he wearing it like right underneath his jaw up here, or is he wearing it at the bottom of his neck, down by like the base of his neck and his shoulders and stuff like that? I really don't know. It's just nice to think of, but it's not nice to think of. It's entertaining to think of. So let me know what you guys think. How would a giraffe wear a tie? At the top of its neck or at the bottom of its neck? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the polls. And we'll let you guys know next week. But with that, we move over into the Friday follows. This week, I'm pleased to announce the first Friday follow is going to go to Talking Walls Charlotte. Talking Walls Charlotte is a nonprofit that's dedicated to mural arts, where, gosh, if you want to see some of the artists that they feature currently to paint murals in and around the city, you can check a lot of them out over at the Metropolitan Shopping Center over in Midtown Charlotte, kind of out by there. They've got a few former shoutouts, including 2Gs and counting, doing amazing murals in and around that shopping center. So make sure you guys go follow them at Talking Walls Charlotte on Instagram. And then next follow. Mans has a song coming out. Proud of the dude about to be a whole ass father. But MillionDollarFingers. Man's got a song coming out tomorrow, or technically today, the day that this releases. So Friday, October 22nd, October 21st. I don't know what day. Whatever day this comes out, Matt's song is also going to be out, titled Go. Make sure you guys give it a listen. I believe it'll be on Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff, wherever you can find songs. But yeah, also go follow the man at MillionDollarFingers. That is million, the word, dollar, the word, fingers, the word, all in one word on Instagram. MillionDollarFingers on Instagram. But with that, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Problems on Problems podcast channel over here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us at Problems on Problems podcast on Instagram, at Problems_pod on Twitter. Go listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever else podcasts are found. And per usual, go follow your boy at MikeSanty18 on all social medias. But like I always say, guys, if it's not a good time, hope it's a good story, and I will see you next week.